Welcome to the deep dive. You guys requested it, and we're diving right in. Bigfoot sightings, but specifically in Iowa.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so get ready to go deep. We've got news articles, databases, even a whole documentary about Iowa Bigfoot hunters.
You know, it's interesting. I think Iowa often gets overlooked in these conversations about Bigfoot.
Right.
But the data actually shows there are a surprising number of reported encounters throughout the state.
And that's what we're going to unpack today. Now, our mission here is not to definitively prove or disprove Bigfoot's existence,
Right.
but to really analyze the patterns, the stories, the sheer number of reports that we're seeing here in Iowa.
I love it.
Are you ready to have your mind blown a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay, so first off, let's talk about the numbers. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, you know them as BFRO, they have 76 sightings logged for Iowa.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's another database, bfro.net, that puts that number even higher at 78,
Interesting.
which puts Iowa on par with states that are known for their Bigfoot lore,
Yeah.
places like the Pacific Northwest.
Right. And it's important to note that BFRO is a well-respected organization. They're not just some, fly-by-night group.
Exactly.
They investigate these reports. They interview witnesses. They analyze evidence. They have a pretty scientific approach.
They take this seriously.
Yeah,
So that data that we're talking about, it holds some weight.
for sure.
So let's look at the data. Humboldt County up in north central Iowa.
Okay.
They lead the pack. They've got 9 reported encounters.
9.
Yeah. Dubuque County and Dallas County are close behind.
I wonder why Humboldt County.
Right. Like, what's going on up there?
Something in the water, maybe?
Well, and that's the other thing that I think is so interesting is we're seeing a lot of these reports near rivers and reservoirs.
It's true. You see that a lot in traditional Bigfoot stories too, right? It's like the dense forests near water. It makes you wonder if there's some kind of connection to Bigfoot habitat.
Yeah, like is it for food, shelter?
Maybe even territorial reasons,
Maybe.
Who knows?
Let's get into some specifics. So in eastern Iowa, in Chickasaw County, there was this report near Protivin where someone heard possible knocks.
Ooh, that's creepy, just hearing knocks out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. And then you've got Dubuque County near Cascade, where there are multiple sightings reported on family property.
Really?
Yeah. One witness described 5 encounters while bow hunting with a big, hairy man-like thing.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
I know. Okay, so this next one is a little bit different.
Okay.
A semi-driver in Boone County reported seeing a Bigfoot chasing a deer in an open field.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, like out in the open.
That's crazy. So it wasn't even in the woods or anything?
Nope, it was just running across the field.
That's wild. I mean, could it be mistaken identity?
Possibly right.
But it does make you wonder what it was doing out there, if there's supposed to be these, forest dwellers.
Exactly. Okay, central Iowa, buckle up. We've got the Des Moines River and the Raccoon River. Polk County has multiple reports near the Des Moines River, and then Dallas County has a bunch along the Raccoon River.
So again, we're seeing that connection to water.
Yeah, it's like a pattern.
Makes you think.
Okay, you ready for this? This detail is a little creepy.
Okay, hit me.
Multiple reports, mostly in Scott County near Davenport, describe Bigfoot screaming.
Screaming?
Yeah, not howling, not grunting.
Oh my goodness.
Screaming.
Like a human scream.
Yeah, so what could explain that?
That's chilling. I mean, scientifically, a lot of animals vocalize for different reasons, right?
Right.
To establish dominance, warn others, attract mates. But the sounds that people describe with Bigfoot, they often defy easy categorization.
For sure.
Some researchers think it could be some kind of communication territorial display or even a distress call, but it's really hard to say.
Yeah, and we're going to dive more into those theories in the next part of our deep dive.
I can't wait.
But before we do that, let's jump to a more recent sighting. This guy, Jeremy, claims to have captured photographs of a creature at Whitewater Canyon in Bernard, Iowa.
Wow.
I can't show you the pictures here, but the descriptions alone are pretty interesting.
I bet. So it's always so tricky with photographic evidence, though, right?
Yeah.
Especially with something like Bigfoot, lighting distance, image quality. It all plays a role.
Absolutely. It's so easy to manipulate photos and videos and stuff these days.
Right. Even with all the technology we have, it's still hard to prove authenticity.
It really comes down to the viewer's interpretation and what they're willing to believe.
For sure.
So let's shift gears a little bit here and talk about Native American perspectives on this creature, because it's fascinating to me that many tribes have their own Bigfoot legends.
Absolutely. And it's so important to acknowledge those cultural perspectives because they often differ from the mainstream portrayal of Bigfoot as this monstrous, scary creature.
Right.
In a lot of Native American traditions, Bigfoot is seen as a protector, a spiritual being, even a person living in harmony with nature.
It's a good reminder that there are multiple layers of meaning and interpretation surrounding these cryptids.
For sure.
And speaking of multiple perspectives, have you heard about the Squatch, Iowa documentary?
I have. Isn't that the one made by the Calhoun County Paranormal Investigators?
Yes.
So interesting.
These guys started it as ghost hunters,
Mm-hmm.
but then they had this experience in Waterloo that kind of shifted their focus to Bigfoot.
Really?
Yeah, their documentary goes into evidence theories, and it gives a voice to people in Iowa who claim to have had encounters.
Oh, wow. I need to check that out.
It's really compelling, and we're going to talk more about it in the next part of our deep dive.
Awesome. I'm hooked.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. As we continue to explore these Bigfoot sightings in Iowa, I think it becomes clear that this phenomenon is about more than just, fleeting glimpses in the woods.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's really about our relationship with the unknown and questioning what we think we know about the world around us.
Exactly. And honestly, who doesn't love a good mystery?
Right. What I find really fascinating is the psychological aspect of it all. What makes people come forward with these stories knowing that they might be met with skepticism or even ridicule?
It's a really good question, and it's something that has fascinated researchers for decades. For some people, it might be a genuine belief in something extraordinary, a desire to share an experience that has really profoundly impacted them.
Right.
For others, it could be a way of challenging conventional wisdom or pushing back against the limitations of scientific explanation,
It's like saying, hey, there's more to the world than what you can see and measure.
Exactly.
And let's not forget the influence of popular culture. I mean, we live in a world that's saturated with stories of the paranormal.
Oh, yeah.
Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, you name it.
It's everywhere.
These narratives really tap into our primal fears and fascinations, and they offer us a glimpse into a world beyond the ordinary.
Totally. And with the rise of social media and on online forums, those stories spread like wildfire. You have these communities of believers and then intense debates between skeptics and enthusiasts. It's like a modern day campfire where these stories are shared and debated and passed down.
That's true. And it's so interesting how those stories kind of evolve over time, shaped by personal beliefs and media portrayals, and even just that desire to make sense of the unexplainable.
It's like a game of telephone.
Right. Bigfoot, for example, has gone from this fearsome monster in early accounts to a more nuanced, even sympathetic figure in some modern interpretations.
It's true. I wonder what accounts for that shift,
It's a good question. I think it reflects our evolving understanding of nature and our place in it. As we learn more about the natural world, we become more open to the possibility of undiscovered creatures and the complexities of ecosystems.
That makes sense.
And maybe there's a little bit of wishful thinking involved, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we want to believe that there are still mysteries out there, creatures that defy our understanding and challenge our assumptions.
There's definitely a romantic element to it, a yearning for a world where the wild and the unknown still hold sway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier the importance of approaching these stories with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Right.
So how do we balance that skepticism with an open mind? How do we evaluate the evidence without dismissing personal experiences?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
Oh,
On the
yeah.
one hand, we need to be critical thinkers, questioning the evidence, looking for logical explanations. But on the other hand, we should be open to the possibility that there are things we don't understand yet,
Yeah.
phenomena that fall outside our current scientific framework.
Yeah, it's about being curious, but also discerning, not accepting everything at face value, but also not dismissing something just because it sounds strange or unbelievable.
Exactly. It's about asking questions, seeking evidence, and being willing to revise our understanding as new information comes to light.
So let's dive back into some of those specific reports from Iowa. We talked about those accounts of Bigfoot screaming.
Oh, yeah.
Some witnesses described those vocalizations as incredibly loud, almost unearthly.
So creepy.
So what are some of the theories that researchers have put forward to explain these sounds?
Oh, there's no shortage of theories ranging from the plausible to the more outlandish.
Okay, I'm ready.
Some suggest that the screams could be a form of territorial display, a way for Bigfoot to communicate with others of its kind over long distances.
Okay.
Others propose that they might be distress calls, triggered by injury or the presence of a perceived threat.
It's so interesting to think about the possible motivations behind these vocalizations.
Right.
Are they trying to intimidate rivals, attract mates, warn others of danger.
Exactly. It adds another layer of mystery to this whole thing.
And then there are the theories that delve into the more paranormal aspects of Bigfoot lore.
Oh, yeah. Some people believe that these creatures possess psychic abilities or can manipulate sound waves to create those eerie, otherworldly vocalizations.
It's definitely a topic that sparks the imagination.
Sure.
But even if we stick to the more scientifically plausible explanations, the idea of a large, intelligent creature roaming the forests, communicating in ways that we don't fully understand, it's pretty captivating.
It is. It challenges our assumptions about the natural world and reminds us that there are still mysteries out there waiting to be uncovered.
Now, shifting gears a bit, we've talked about the potential dangers of encountering Bigfoot, but what about the ethical considerations?
Go ahead.
Specifically, the debate over whether Bigfoot, if it exists, should be hunted.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's a complex issue with strong arguments on both sides, On the one hand, some people argue that if Bigfoot is a real creature, it's a part of the natural world, and it should be subject to the same regulations as other wildlife.
Well,
They point out that hunting could help control populations, prevent human-wildlife conflicts, and even provide valuable scientific data.
right.
But on the other hand, many people believe that hunting a potentially endangered species, especially one as elusive and poorly understood as Bigfoot, would be irresponsible and unethical.
Yeah, I can see that.
They argue that we should focus on conservation and research, not exploitation.
It's a really tough call.
Mhm.
I mean, if Bigfoot populations are small and fragmented, as some researchers believe, hunting could push them closer to extinction.
Exactly. And even if populations are larger than we currently estimate, we still know so little about their behavior, their habitat needs, their reproductive rates.
It seems like more research is needed before we can even begin to have an informed discussion about hunting.
I agree.
We need to know more about their distribution, their population size, their role in the ecosystem. And we need to consider the potential consequences of hunting, both for Bigfoot and for the humans involved.
Absolutely. It's a conversation that requires careful consideration, taking into account both scientific evidence and ethical principles.
Yeah, it's a reminder that our actions have consequences not just for ourselves, but for the other creatures with whom we share this planet.
Well said.
And before we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, we want to remind you that you can support the deep dive by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the show. And if you've been enjoying this episode and you want to learn even more about the fascinating world of Bigfoot, be sure to check out the link in the episode description to buy the book, The Bigfoot War of 1855. Join us again for part 3 as we continue our exploration of Bigfoot sightings in Iowa and delve into some of the most intriguing theories and evidence surrounding this elusive creature. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Iowa Bigfoot mysteries.
Well,
We've covered a lot of ground today, everything from those specific sighting locations to Native American perspectives to even those ethical considerations of hunting a potentially unknown species.
right.
So as we kind of wrap up here, what are some of the things that really stand out to you?
I think the sheer diversity of experiences reported in Iowa is just remarkable. It's
Yeah.
not just like these fleeting glimpses in the woods, or, we're talking alleged physical interactions, vocalizations, footprints, even claims of repeated encounters. It's true. And it's hard to dismiss the impact that these encounters have on those who report them.
Right.
Even if we might not share their convictions, their beliefs and experiences are real
Yeah,
and worthy of our respect.
absolutely. And I think it's a good reminder that our understanding of the world is constantly evolving.
Mm-hmm.
What might seem outlandish today could be totally accepted as fact tomorrow.
Right.
We just have to look at the history of scientific discovery to see how often our assumptions have been challenged and overturned.
It's true. Thinking back on those chilling accounts of Bigfoot screaming, it makes you wonder about the nature of those vocalizations.
Yeah.
I mean, are they a form of communication, territorial displays, distress calls?
There are so many theories out there.
I know.
Some suggest that Bigfoot might even use infrasound,
Ooh.
Frequencies below the range of human hearing to communicate over long distances.
Wow.
Others speculate that the screams could be a way of inducing fear or disorientation in potential threats.
That's a creepy thought.
I know, right? It's fascinating to consider those possibilities, though.
Yeah.
And even if we kind of set aside those more paranormal explanations, the idea of a large, intelligent creature communicating in ways that we don't fully understand It's just so intriguing.
It is. It really challenges that kind of anthropocentric view of the world,
Right.
reminding us that other forms of intelligence and communication might exist beyond our current understanding.
Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about that Squatch, Iowa documentary again.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's clear that the filmmakers approached this topic with a genuine curiosity,
Right.
not just a desire to sensationalize or exploit the subject matter.
Yeah, they did a great job of presenting multiple perspectives, giving voice to those who believe they've encountered Bigfoot, but also acknowledging the importance of skepticism and critical thinking.
I thought they did a really good job with that. And I found it particularly interesting how they explored that human element.
Mm.
The motivations and experiences of those who search for Bigfoot. It's not just about proving or disproving the creature's existence.
Oh.
It's about the journey, the community, the allure of the unknown.
It speaks to our innate desire to explore, to discover, to push the boundaries of what we understand about the world around us.
And even in our technologically advanced age, there's still a place for mystery and wonder.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe that's part of what keeps the Bigfoot legend alive.
Mm.
It's a reminder that there are still things in this world that we don't fully understand. Creatures that might exist just beyond the reach of our cameras and our scientific instruments.
Perhaps the answer lies not in definitive proof or scientific validation,
Yeah.
but in the power of stories, the allure of the unexplained, and the enduring human desire to believe in something beyond the ordinary.
That's a great point. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Iowa's Bigfoot mysteries.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride exploring the evidence, the theories, the human stories behind this enduring legend.
It really has.
So thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. If you enjoyed this episode of The Deep Dive, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. And for those of you who want to delve even deeper into the world of Bigfoot, check out the link in the episode description to buy the book titled The Bigfoot War of 1855. Until next time, keep exploring the depths of knowledge